Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Left Brain Liz. That's me. Today I'm going to be talking about how to make everyone's favorite little bath time item, a bath fizzy. So I'll go over the chemistry of it and what goes into it and see about how you can make your own, because they're super fun and pretty easy, and I think you'll have fun. But anyway, so even though it's not as chemically as intense as making a batch of soap, with everything else, safety first. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Here are all the materials that I'm going to need to make bath bombs. The stuff in the back is baking soda and citric acid, and you absolutely need those to make bath bombs. Without them, it's not going to work. There's a spray bottle there in the front that's helpful because you're going to need a little water to spray and get them to stick together. But other than that, everything else is pretty optional. We've got colorants and fragrances and molds and some little droppers there. I also need measuring cups and some mixing bowls, which are not in the photo, but you'll see them when I start making some stuff. All the fragrances there, I think I got the two front ones from Wholesale Supplies Plus. The back one I got from Peak Fragrances, and then the colorants are all a variety. I think Wholesale Supplies Plus and Brambleberry. So I'll link all that stuff in the description for you. And I wanted to go over a little bit the differences between citric acid and baking soda. This first little swirly is citric acid, and you can see that it's really granular, kind of looks like sugar or salt. It's completely edible, but I do not recommend it because it's very sour. But yeah, in comparison to baking soda, it's a lot more crystalline. So here's the baking soda, and it's a lot more powdery and fine and a little bit more staticky. But yeah, you can see it's also kind of edible too, but I really don't recommend it. But everything we're using here is pretty safe. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay, so here I have my workspace all protected. I just have wax paper down just to protect my countertop. And I've got my measuring bowls. So with my measuring cups, basically it's so easy to make these bath bombs because all you have to do, the basic ingredients are simply the baking soda and the citric acid, and all you have to do is measure them out 2 to 1. So two times baking soda to 1 times citric acid. And to make it in the most simplest terms, 1 cup of baking soda to half a cup of citric acid. So depending on how big you want your batch to be, determines how much you're going to use of each. So and for this, it's not entirely exact. So like if I measure out this much baking soda, which it's kind of bright, but yeah, you can see, there we go. It's not like perfectly level or anything like that, but we're going with it. And then the citric acid, this one's a little bit easier to measure because it's more salt-like or sugar-like, however you want to look at it. And then just go with that. All right. So simple batch. It's very, well, I probably could have put this through a sieve. A lot of people do that. In fact, instead of using that spoon, I'm just going to use my hand, my gloved hand, and moosh around the lumps. If I put it through a sieve, I could just basically sift out the lumps, but I always forget to use a sieve. Even in baking, you know, it's just, I don't know why I never think of it. Maybe my mind is in too much of a hurry or something. But yeah. So, at least by using my hand to mix this too, I know it's going to get uniform because I'm really mixing the crud out of it. Okay. And it's okay if there are some little lumps in there. It's not going to affect your end product. But it's good to get rid of the big ones because that's not going to do you any good. Sorry, I have asthma and it's cold here right now, so the cold weather is constantly making me like just want to clear my throat, even though there's nothing there. It's just like, I don't know, tightened up or something. Okay, so this feels pretty uniform. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And the first Bath Fizzy I'm going to do, I think I'll just make a basic Bath Fizzy for you guys, so that way you know that it still works without any extras. So here I just have my baking soda and my citric acid, and I mixed it up pretty good so I know it's relatively uniform. I'm just gonna portion out part of it because I don't want to use the whole bit just for a plain bath bomb, because how fun is that, right? Okay, so here I have my bottle of water, and you want to be very careful with this because it's a quick reaction. When citric acid and baking soda meet, they make carbon dioxide, and it's a really robust and sensitive reaction. So we only want to get this moist enough to mix it. So I'll show you the consistency you want it to be. So, ooh, you can even hear it. So you want to mix it quick. Try to give it one more squirt. Ooh, yeah, it's mixing in there. Okay, so you want to get it to where when you smoosh it like that, it kind of holds its shape. See how it kind of holds its shape there? If I get it more wet, it won't ever dry. It'll just continue to react slowly, and your bath bombs will get all mutated looking. So let's put that in here. Can grab a little here. Got my spherical molds that I got from Amazon. Okay. Lovely. Very lovely. I'm going to leave it in the bottom half so it has something to sit on instead of like sitting on its end there. But you don't necessarily have to have a mold either. You can, what I used to do is make bath glass, and all you have to do for that is just lay it out on a surface, right? And then just smash it down. You just want it to be kind of compact. Okay. Wait for it to dry. And then if you've ever made glass candy before, once it's solid, you can just use the back of your spoon or something and then like hit it, and it'll like shatter into like little glassy pieces. But right now it's not dry, so it's just gonna sit there like a pancake on my wax paper, which I don't want, so I'm just gonna, ooh, maybe I can scoot it. I'll scoot it, how about that? Yay, wax paper. Okay. All right, so now that I did the basic, now let's have some fun and do colors and fragrances. So since it's getting close to spring, well, yeah, kind of close to spring anyway, let's go ahead and make a floral scent. So this is called Rose Bouquet. It's from, I bought it a long time ago from a place called Peak Candle Supplies, but I don't believe they sell candle supplies anymore. I think they're just called Peak Fragrances. And I'll link their site in the description below. But this is probably the best rose fragrance I've ever smelled. It's very fresh. It's like an English tea rose kind of smell. It's not heady or overwhelming. It's got a green kind of like freshness about it. And so I like to use this a lot. So I will go ahead and use some of this. Let's see. I'll be honest, I don't really have a method for adding fragrance to bath bombs. There's probably a rule. For like a cup and a half cup, I typically just put like 3 mils in there. And although these aren't entirely required to make bath bombs, these pipettes, you can use a teaspoon, and 1 mil is like, I believe, a half teaspoon or a full teaspoon. I'll look that up. I've always had the pipette, so I really don't know. I feel like 3 mils is enough to kind of scent the batch and not be overwhelming, because you don't want to, when you throw it in the bath, you don't want it to like just give you a headache when you're trying to relax. So yeah, this is a very nice subtle scent, but they're present enough to be good. So, oops, before I take the cap off here, I'm going to put this Jazzberry Red Mica powder in there. This is from Wholesale Supplies Plus. I love the mica powders because you don't really have to disperse them. Unlike with pigments, they have to be dispersed. And actually, I'll use another fragrance when I make another one here that I'll show you what I mean by that. But they have to be dispersed first before you can put them in. And I don't know what, I guess it's just like the fact that the colorant is mixed in with the mica that makes it more like you don't have to disperse it first or what. But I don't know, it's a very fine powder that doesn't clump or anything like that. So you just put it right in there and it mixes in beautifully. You see that? See the white at the bottom there? It just like incorporates itself so well. So I love it. And then whenever you put it in the bath, it's going to sparkle because it's got that sparkly mica powder to it. So now my basic bath bomb here, I must have added a little bit too much water. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's got what I guess the handcrafted community calls little warts. And what that means is it's just still reacting in there, trying to burst out. So I'm just going to keep it in its stainless shell and see if that helps. But I think it'll eventually dry, because I think I've had them before where they've had warts on them and they just eventually dried. But it's not pretty. So we'll be more careful with this guy. So all I have added additionally to this is fragrance and color. And we'll go ahead and get some of my molds at the heel so I can be ready. Go ahead and spray. This is a bigger batch, so I can spray a little bit more, but you still have to be careful about it. And that is probably as far as I'll go. And if you don't add too much, or if you don't add enough water, then your stuff is not going to stick together at all. So it'll like look like it's going to stick together. Yep, it's holding its shape. We want that. Yeah, it'll look like it's going to stick together, but ultimately does not when it comes out of the mold. So got this and this. So fill both halves and then smoosh it together. Well, yeah, sometimes you'll see, like, maybe because I'm using a deeper bowl, so it's not as easy for me to grab material out, but sometimes you'll see them where they're kind of like raised up in that center seam. And that's because they really fill the half, like, we're talking like, let's see if I can do it actually. May not have enough. Or not enough room to scoop anyway. Nope. That's okay. I like them this way anyway. Beautiful. Okay. I have a little extra, not enough to make a full bath bomb, so I think I'm going to add it to my other glass, my bath glass. I'm going to smoosh. I'm just going to press it on there. Why not? Scooch. Okay. I highly recommend these stainless molds because they're pretty inert for this process, and they also, like, I don't know if it's the chemical component of this particular stainless, but it's really reduces the static, so your bath bombs are not going to stick to the mold. I'm just washing my hands right now because they're covered in the stuff. Okay, but I'm about ready to measure out some more, so I want to make sure that, yeah, you get it. Anyway, okay, so back to our measurement. I got, ooh, this stuff is hard. No sieve, 1 cup baking soda. Oops. Half cup citric acid, right? Right. Okay. That was just extra baking soda that I had from the earlier image that I showed you. Just dumped it in there, it's fine. Getting rid of the lumps. Okay, now this one we're gonna do a little different. We're gonna try to have a little bit, we're gonna maybe do something a little more design-like with these. Keep in mind too, this is just the basic bath bomb. I will do another tutorial where we have additives and stuff like that, but for knowledge purposes, the more additives you add to a bath bomb, the I guess, I don't want to say less effective, but the more you interrupt that chemical bond, or not bond, but reaction that the citric acid and the baking soda will have with each other, which that's not the word I was looking for, but you know. Anyway, I apologize for my cat in the background. She has gone in heat 3 times in the past month, and it is driving me insane. Oh my gosh, I don't know, like, if she's going through puberty or what, but she's not even a year old yet. Oh, she's driving me nuts. She's cute as heck, but whew. Okay. Okay, I think I'm about done with the lumps here. Yeah. Okay, so for this one, I think I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna do jelly donut. This is a very fascinating fragrance because it actually smells like a jelly donut. So last time I measured out 3 separate 1 ml aliquots. Today, for this one, I'm just gonna do 3 ml. And you may not be able to see it, but this is the 3 ml mark right here. And that's all I'm gonna add. Oops. And fragrance oil is just that, it's an oil, so it doesn't come out so readily of the pipette that water would. So wherever you lay that pipette tip, make sure it's protected from any kind of like sensitive surface, because fragrance oils can eat through stuff like really bad. Munchkin. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna do something a little different with this. Since this is a jelly donut, I'm gonna leave this white, but I'm gonna put some powder in the middle. Probably not quite that much. I'm not going to spray this powder because when I spray this powder, it's gonna hold it together. And what I mean is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add this amethyst purple mica, which I also got from Wholesale Supplies Plus. I'm gonna add a little bit of that to the center portion. Okay. Make it nice and purpley. Okay, so maybe what I will do, maybe I will add a little water to it, but I don't know, it's kind of smooshing together pretty good. Decisions. So, my gloves have purple on them and I don't want to get it on the white. But I didn't I didn't clean this bowl after I did the rose, so the pink is getting in there, and it actually looks pretty cool because it's a very, very faint baby pink. And that's good color for a jelly donut, I think, anyway. So spray, quick, mix. Okay, one more squirt. It's holding together, lovely. I'm gonna put a little in here, right? I'm gonna make a little divot. Put a little bit of this purple. Actually, shoot, I just got some in there. It's okay, we can fix this. All right, put a little of the purple inside. Okay. Fill the other half. Maybe put a little on top here. Won't be exactly centered, but basically what's going to happen is you'll get a little purpley surprise. Once the bath bomb is about done, that purple will be in the center, and then it'll come out and be like, surprise. Not quite like that, but you know. Do another one like that. Make my little divot. Spoon my purple over the purple. Okay. Try to keep it in the middle as much as possible so that it's not poking out, because then it won't be a surprise and then it'll be sad. Okay. And smoosh. Ah, lost my purple. Well, dang it. That's okay. It's still not really showing though, so yay. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just mix it all together and make a full this will be like a multicolor bath bomb. Trying not to make it one color, but I think I'm gonna fail at this. But that's quite all right. I want you to know too, I have my surface protected, but this process is really gentle, for lack of a better word. I don't want to say gentle, but you know, it's not quite as harsh as like soap making at all. Ooh, that looked kind of cool. So the precautions are good, but if you get a little on your counter, like just the citric acid and baking soda mixture, it's not gonna do a whole lot. Careful not to get it on the floor like I did, because I've got cats rolling around being stupid. Yeah. I'm going to, oh shoot. Going to flatten out this bit. Okay, let that dry on the wax paper. Okay, and so I need to let these dry, and then I could take them out of their molds. So you can see here we've got our rose, which is our nice lovely jazzberry red, pink, our jelly donut, which has got our surprise purple in there, and then we got our plain bath bomb, which it's trying to make its way out of the mold. So yeah, I definitely sprayed too much water in there. Let's see if I can wiggle it out. Oh yeah, look at that. It even feels cold. So this one may be a lost cause, but that's okay. It's meant to show you the process anyway. And it was such a little amount that it was hard to gauge how much water would be sprayed on there. Okay, so anyway, once these dry, I'm gonna go ahead and unmold them, and then I'll show you what the chemistry does whenever you throw it into water. So anyway, stay tuned. Okay, so here I have my regular bath bomb that had no colors or fragrance in it, and it is still reacting. It's very soft to the touch, but it'll do what I need it to do to show you what I mean here. So here I have just ordinary water from the tap, and it's a breezy 65.4 degrees. And I'll show you that this is actually considered an endothermic reaction. So when the baking soda and citric acid mix together in water, it creates that carbon dioxide, which is an endothermic, which basically means that it kind of absorbs heat in order to make it happen. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it in here. You'll see it's fizzing like crazy, right? And the temperature has gone down to 62 point. That's keeps on going down. So you see how it's going down there. Woo! So yeah, it went down quite a few degrees. I honestly have never measured this before, so I didn't know how far down it would go. I just know it's cold. So we can basically say that this little cup of water went down by about 10 degrees from this reaction, which yeah, if you touch that, it feels like an ice cube. If you've ever used a bath bomb and you've just held on to it, it's really cold. It's actually kind of refreshing to me because your bath is hot, and then you hold this cold thing. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's like confusing your mind or something. But yeah, so you can see that little bitty guy is still going. There's still quite a bit of it left. It's going to keep on going. So these bigger bath bombs in a bigger bowl of water will last a lot longer than that. But anyway, so yeah, our final, and even in some spots was 47. So it may even be safe to say that it lowers the temperature by about 15 degrees. So there you have it. Endothermic. It's your science word for the day. It's a reaction that I guess absorbs heat, I guess requires energy to well, everything requires energy, but it kind of like pulls that heat in from its surrounding area to make it happen. As opposed to in soap making, when you make the lye, it's an exothermic reaction, which means it puts off a lot of heat and it can get really, really hot. So this, like if I had put lye in here instead, it'd probably reach about 200 degrees. So it's a lot more intense than this. So we saw a 15-degree difference. We would see like 135-degree difference. So it's much more intense of a reaction. Endothermic reactions are not very common, but they do happen. So anyway, there you have it. You can see that there's still extra excess. I guess that's probably baking soda at the bottom. Oh yeah, that feels like baking soda. So there's a little excess of that in the bottom, which is totally fine because baking soda is actually good for your skin. Something about it. I guess I can look into that too. I just don't know. Every time I've ever used baking soda in like a foot soak or something, it's just felt really nice afterwards. So anyway, well, that's your lesson in making bath fizzies, and I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, I will unmold these soon, hopefully, and get you a picture of that. So, Munchkin. 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 Munchkin.
All right, here they are in all their glory. That pink is really vibrant, and I like how the jelly donut ones came out. They're still kind of sitting in their half pan. But anyway, so if you are interested in subscribing, just click on my portrait on the right, and there's other viewing content for you there too. And I hope you enjoyed this little scientific lesson on how to make bath bombs, and look in the future for some more in-depth, maybe design aspects to making a bath bomb and additives and such. But anyway, we'll see you later. Bye.